Our song Heavenly Perspective was written out of a season in our life that had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. One in particular, probably the deepest valley in this season, was when our son Ezra was life flighted to Dallas for a condition that was pretty critical. And we didn't know what to do at the time. We didn't know where to turn. We knew to pray. We were just waiting to hear something from God on it.
It all just kind of happened really fast and really unexpectedly. It was not something small that turned to big. I don't think it necessarily had to be as big as it was. But we just found ourselves in a really grim and dark situation with his life kind of hanging in the balance. And after probably 2 nights at our stay in Dallas in the hospital, and if you've ever been in the hospital, you know they're coming in and out. You know, they're prying and ripping off tape and redoing IVs, and there's everything, you know, all the alarms and everything are going off. And we hadn't slept, and he was very uncomfortable, and he wasn't turning around. The fever was staying really high. They were trying to get fluid in him, but he was really, really weak at that point in time. And I just remember feeling like I had stayed pretty strong through the whole thing. I remember feeling like trying to just keep it under control and just have faith and believe like that this was going to turn around. But it was at this point in the middle of the night. I think Todd was asleep and I was up with him and the nurses were there. And I just broke. I couldn't take it anymore, and it just started to kind of cave in on me. And I just started to ask the hard questions of God, like, why me? Why right now? Why this situation? Why my child? You know, my promise. You know, why us? Is there something that we did wrong, God? You know, is there something that I'm not seeing in my life that is displeasing to you? I was trying to find a place almost to lay blame in that moment, because I was just desperate for something to change or happen. And he just said to me, Amanda, even when it looks like nothing's happening, everything's happening where I am. And in that moment, I'm like, well, that's great, God. You know, I'm glad that where you're at, this isn't reality, but where I'm at, this isn't changing. And that feeling, it didn't shift, it didn't change quite yet. But I said, you know what, God, I'm going to hold on to that. And I just began to hold on to what he said. And I began to speak it over the situation. I began to sing it, even when it looks like nothing's happening. Everything's happening where you are. And just to build my faith and stir myself up, within a few days of me just singing that and holding on to this promise from the Lord, we saw a turnaround in his health. Mm-hmm. We saw him begin to be able to eat again, and things that, you know, he hadn't been able to do in days.
He had energy that he didn't have before. It's one thing when you or someone you know is going through some kind of health crisis, but it rises up a place of agony in your heart when your child goes through something that you didn't even know was there. But what's so awesome is when God just intervenes in the middle of it, mm-hmm. and he brings that turnaround so fast. You know, that was when our son Ezra was 8 months old, and he's almost 2 now. Mm-hmm. You know, he's just as wild as ever, just as fun as ever. And, you know, we believe that God did that for us, and we know he can do that for anyone else. Yeah. When they see things through his perspective.
That's my hope for this song, is that it changes someone's life. That they may be at a point where they're like, God, I don't know if you're good anymore. I don't know if you're good right now. Maybe they're looking for a place to lay the blame because they're just at their wits' end. I want them to be able to grasp onto those lyrics and say, no, my God is faithful. He's called me. He's calling me to come up higher and see things as he does. And I want them to hold on to it and see their breakthrough, because it's coming. So many hurting people right now, going through situations right now. I just truly believe that God is going to turn that around. Don't lose faith. Don't lose hope. Your hope may be small, but hope is really hard to kill. It's really hard to kill. And if you hold on to the word of the Lord in the midst of what you're going through, I 100% know, because I've been there, and every time and time again, he's been faithful to turn it around.
I can see clearly now. out.